this will be my last video today. It'll put me at right around 2 weeks ahead, roughly. This one's going to be about weight loss. For those of you that don't know, I have PCOS, and I lost over 100 pounds, and I kept off about 80 of it before I injured my back. Now I'm having to learn new ways without as much exercise, because for most people it's 80% diet, 20% exercise. For me it's about 50-50, okay? And also, just think, if you're walking 6,000 steps a day or 7,000 steps a day, and all of a sudden you're lucky to do 2,000 to 3,000, although I do always try for 2,000 steps a day, and here's why. I have read this from multiple sources, that is the lowest possible you need to do every day to prevent strokes and stuff. Like, your risk of stroke and heart attack and all that is through the roof if you don't get at least 2,000 steps a day. And of course, that's the bare minimum. Absolutely. But I do try and get 2,000 steps a day, which really, if you think about it, for most people isn't that difficult. And even with my back issues, it's not as hard as usually it's not as hard, I should say. Sometimes when my back goes out, it is. But I wanted to talk about how I lost weight and how I'm losing weight again. Because keep in mind, I kept it off for many years. 5-6 years, okay? So, reduce your carb intake. Especially if you're pre-diabetic, that will help you lose weight. Because your insulin resistance is high. And for people with PCOS, that's a very common thing. And so, yes, I absolutely did it. Now, it wasn't super low. It wasn't like this 20 grams a day thing. It was, well, first of all, I didn't even count carbs. I just, you'll see me drinking a Coke. You'll notice it's a Coke Zero. See, black letter. And mostly I drink water or the 5-calorie flavor packs. But when I do drink a soda, it's a 0-calorie one. Because, quite honestly, I don't drink as many of them. I don't like the taste as well, so that's a good hack for me. But you consider that most 12 or definitely 16 ounces has 40-50 grams of sugar. So if you're even drinking one of those, if you're trying to stay under 100 milligrams even, that's going to be difficult. And I was drinking 6, 8, 10 out of a 12-pack a day, or a 2-liter or close to it a day if I had 2 liters. Which is why when I have Coke or Diet Mountain Dew or whatever it is, I get the diet or the 0-calorie. I don't really taste that much of a difference. I think technically some of them have 1 gram of carbs instead of 0. Honestly, that doesn't really affect me. Part of it too is, and this is different for everybody, but I have to keep my carbs above a certain amount or my sugar crashes. But I will say that I still have not had to go back on medication. I was on metformin. Some of y'all may know it as glucophage. It's one of the more popular for people with diabetes, especially if you have PCOS as well. And so I'm sure that I took off 300 grams of carbs just right there, you know. And I didn't replace it with cakes or anything like that. Did I eat cake? Yes. Did I eat a honey bun if I wanted it? Yes. But I didn't eat as many of them. And now I try and stay 100 grams or below. Get plenty of fiber. That's something I've honestly did, and I need to get back into doing. I was able to buy some canned vegetables and some frozen vegetables with the money I get from my insurance company for healthy foods. You can only spend them on healthy foods. I actually like that. It actually helps me a lot. But a lot of vegetables have a lot of fiber, and a lot of them are very low carb, unless it's like potatoes or carrots or something like that. But even then, it's a lot lower than if you were to eat a cake, or a slice of cake, or a slice of pie. So, eat enough protein. Yes, I switched some of the sweets I was eating and some of the carb heavy drinks that I was with. I used, I bought cans of tuna, cans of chicken. All of a sudden I had money to do that because I wasn't spending $5 a day on 12 packs of drinks. And it was probably more like $3 a day back then. And if I ran out of money, I just drank Kool-Aid instead. But the point is that, I made some life changes. And so now I get more protein in. Eat healthy fats. That's definitely something I have to watch with my PCOS. You might not have to worry about it. I know people that eat saturated fat and stuff, especially people that went on a keto diet. But with PCOS, it's definitely something I have to watch. It's been documented. And when something's well documented, going back to before they knew the name for the disorder and they found out more and more, yeah, I believe it. I mean, because it's not something they found just recently. I mean, they've known that this disorder exists for hundreds of years. They just didn't have a name for it. And I can't say for sure, but maybe a woman with the issue of blood in the Bible may very well have had PCOS. That's one of the symptoms. I know because I had a similar issue for over a year one time. And I had to take medicine to stop that. Eat fermented foods. Some people have luck with that. I really didn't notice. I don't really like fermented foods except for sauerkraut, but I thought I would mention it. Practice mindful eating. That's something I have absolutely done. You'll eat less of the worst for you foods, first of all, if you just enjoy the bites that you're eating. And I personally didn't even have to limit how many bites, or say go from, I've never been one to buy king-size bars, so maybe if you're buying king-size bars, maybe go down to a regular bar. But, I would eat part of a regular bar and honestly not want any more right then. And I'd put it in the refrigerator, in a sandwich bag, and a day or two later eat more on it if I wanted it. But most candy bars, unless it's king size or something, don't have a whole lot of calories. They're mostly carb and fat, which is a bad combination. If you're going to eat carbs, it's usually not good to have fats with it. But there are some that don't have as many fats. And also, part of mindful eating, at least to me, is thinking, do I really want this? Is it really worth it? Because sometimes it's not really worth it to eat that 300 calorie candy bar, depending on how many low calorie or low carb you're going. Because I watch my calories to an extent, because honestly I can gain weight even eating a lower carb diet. I know a lot of people don't.